Welcome to Sunday worship with the Unitarian Universalist Society of Schenectady. I'm the Reverend Lynn Gardner. My pronouns are she or they. And I am blessed to serve as co-minister of this congregation along with Reverend Wendy Bartell. Name, not pronouns, please. Thanks to today's intergenerational choir for this special gathering music. And to each of you, welcome. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity, whatever your situation in life, whatever your current theology or questions about life and the divine, your presence here is a gift. Whether you are filled with sadness, overflowing with joy, needing time for self reflection, eager to engage with others, you belong here. You don't need to do anything to earn the love contained within these walls, within this Zoom room. All are welcome as part of the human family. If you are attending worship or you'll be going to children's religious education classes for the first time, we offer you an especially warm welcome. We are so glad you're here. And if you are returning after some time away, maybe at school, for instance, maybe after another break, welcome back.
Shared in the early 1990s by the Reverend Carolyn Owentoll, one of my former ministers in San Diego, who died this fall and whose life was celebrated last Saturday. Years ago, I spoke with her about the origins of this service. It was always a very meaningful tradition there. And she shared that the idea came out of a need to acknowledge that families come in all sizes, shapes, and configurations. She felt that while Jesus, Mary, and Joseph may often get the limelight at this time of year as the holy, Holy, family, she ministered to whole families, Whole, and that as a religious community, she wanted to have a service that honored the wholeness of what family really means.
So there are different elements of family woven into this service so that we might practice ways to honor the wholeness that families arrive in and unfold into, even when the word family and that reality may be challenging or painful for some of us. We know that unfortunately, some people experience hurt and harm in their families. We also know that some families are healthy and relatively happy. We know that any of us can have difficulties with those with whom we have some familial connection and at any given time. These relationships require care and attention, trust, honesty, and a willingness to forgive.
In this congregation, in this sanctuary that includes our Zoom room, we honor families of all sorts. Beautiful families of one and complex multi-generational families of 12 or 20 or 100 or more. We welcome families with children and those with multiple adults. Some families in this congregation have changed shape in the last year. There have been some births. There have been some deaths. Families have welcomed someone new, and others have experienced separations and transitions. One thing we know about families is that they don't usually stay exactly the same.
It's also important for us to say that each of us gets to define our family, not the state, not our parents or friends or coworkers. As ministers, we are blessed to be invited to be with families at beginnings and endings and important points along in the middle. And this is such an honor because we know that each family is holy, however you choose to spell it, and that it is often with our particular families that each person can allow others to see our beauty and our brokenness, our fierceness and our fragility.
Today, we will hear from two families with a bit about one of their winter holiday traditions, one ish, and an unexpected gift that has come with it or with them. Following each family's sharing, we will invite the congregation to offer a brief blessing that will be shared on the screen. We begin our Holy Family reflections with Mimi Katz.
Good morning. I'm Mimi Katz. My pronouns are she and her, and I have the honor of serving on 3 ministerial teams here: Buildings and Grounds, Green Sanctuary, and Membership. I grew up with Hanukkah traditions that were really quite ordinary. My brothers, Dave and Dan, and I lit the menorah, adding a candle every night for each of the 8 nights of Hanukkah. My parents, Sam and Jean Katz, made traditional potato pancakes called latkes, which they served with applesauce, sour cream, yogurt, and sometimes even leftover Thanksgiving cranberry relish. They were delicious. We played the dreidel game with either pennies or with Hanukkah gelt, which are chocolate coins wrapped in gold foil. When we used the Hanukkah gelt, the game was particularly short because we typically ate the chocolate before we could get very far with the game. My brother Dave played the piano and we sang Hanukkah songs. Our Hanukkah festivities were common traditions. What was unusual about our holiday traditions, at least at that time, was that we also celebrated Christmas. We didn't know any other families that were as lucky as we were. Our friends were envious. My father grew up lighting the menorah, and my mother grew up lighting the Christmas tree. Mixed religion marriages were quite rare when my parents married in 1953 in Manhattan. Even there, they could not find a rabbi or a minister who was willing to marry them. So they got married at the Ethical Culture Society. In the early 1960s, mom and dad looked for somewhere they could take their 3 young children on Sunday mornings. They found a place that welcomed people of all religious backgrounds. We came here to the Great Hall, to this congregation, and to the minister, Bill Gold. My child holiday memories include being here in the Great Hall for the winter solstice service, with its candle lighting, the mitten tree, singing, and lots of cookies. In those days, there was no Christmas Eve or Christmas Day service here. We weren't in town anyway because we always went to New York City to light the Christmas tree with my mother's mother and my aunt, and to light the menorah with my father's mother. Now that my brothers and I are the oldest generation left in our family, we each light our menorahs in our own homes. My nephews light their menorahs with their families, and then in true 21st century style, we share the holiday by group texting photographs of our Hanukkah displays, and then we repeat the process on Christmas Day. So to me, it feels like coming home to be back here in the Great Hall with this congregation, with Reverend Lynn and Reverend Wendy, for the holidays. This is truly a gift that I didn't anticipate 60 years ago when my family first came here for the holidays.
If you will join me in blessing this family. Mhm. There we go. We bless this family in its uniqueness, beauty, and love.
Good morning. I'm Sharon McNeil, and this is my son, Charlie. We are 2/3 of our family. Charlie's twin sister, Audrey, is homesick, unfortunately, but we will be sharing our thoughts on our holiday traditions on her behalf. If you recognize the names Clara, Fritz, Drosselmeyer, Marzipan, Mother Ginger, the Rat King, the Sugar Plum Fairy, then you must be familiar with the Nutcracker Ballet. Based on a classic children's fairy tale by E.T.A. Hoffmann with music by Tchaikovsky, the Nutcracker Ballet holds a special place in our family story. As a child dancer myself, I was always enamored with the Nutcracker around the holiday time. When I was young, we would read the storybooks and watch the production on TV. My sister once took me to see a regional production, and when my brother was in college for graphic design, he made a fake poster advertising my debut dancing in the Nutcracker Ballet. When I was a senior in high school, I was asked to join the Northeast Ballet Company here in Schenectady and to take part in their first annual production of the Nutcracker at Proctor's. It was truly a dream come true. Fast forward about 24 years when my Aunt Martha and I took Charlie and Audrey to see the Northeast Ballet Nutcracker at Proctor's for the first time when they were 4 years old. Charlie was a fan of the battle scene between the mice and the soldiers, and particularly enjoyed the cheese cannon. Audrey loved watching all of the dancers in their beautiful costumes. And that next year, Audrey danced in her first Nutcracker 25 years after mine. This is her part, I'll read for her. Since then, she has danced in that Nutcracker 9 times, missing only 1 year for COVID and 1 year for knee surgery. She looks forward to it every year, dancing a new role and learning more about the ballet as the years go on. Her favorite part is when the company moves into Proctor's dressing rooms, which is probably where she got sick, because it all comes together and feels like a full production. They have lots of fun backstage in between rehearsal times, bonding with friends and making new ones. And there are lots of traditions like door decorating, senior pranks, and getting nutcrackers or books signed by the guest artists from the New York City Ballet. Her family and friends always come to watch her, and it's great seeing how much they enjoyed the show. While Audrey spends a lot of time at rehearsals during the fall, it allows Charlie and I to spend more time with just the two of us. And while he very much liked the Act 1 battle scene and cannon shot when he was younger, after year 9, I would say that the Nutcracker is something he endures rather than enjoys in support of his sister.
Other than having to go to the Nutcracker every year, one of the things I enjoy most is our Christmas Advent socks. My mom made a string across our back kitchen window, and we have 24 different kid-sized Christmas socks hung on the string with clothespins. Every morning starting December 1st, we come downstairs and take our turns opening the sock, which gives me something to look forward to when I get up out of bed for school. Some of my favorite things I've found in the socks are D&D dice and chocolate. I especially like it when we get a note and have to find something.
That part.
So our Decembers are filled with little traditions that we can all enjoy.
Let us offer a blessing to this family. We bless this family. Audrey, I hope you feel better soon. Today, perhaps as you hang out for our holiday hangout, maybe you could ask one another a little bit about some of your favorite traditions, or a story about the unexpected gifts from your family of origin or your chosen family, or maybe both. Let us take some time now to sit together in stillness, in some relative quiet, even as the sounds of life may go on in and around us. You might place your feet on or towards the floor, with your hands resting in your lap or wherever they are most comfortable. Perhaps closing your eyes or watching the chalice flame can help you get centered and a little quieter. Spirit of compassion, we gather this morning as the holidays and holy days of many traditions unfold, and as violence continues in the community and in the wider world. We gather and we condemn the atrocities of Hamas and the rise of anti-Semitism, even as we are also yearning for a ceasefire. that Palestinians and Israelis might find a way to tend to the injured, to grieve the dead, and to finally broker a true and just peace for all. And we are humbled by the complexities of religious and cultural differences that cause some to seek to destroy others. And at this time, it feels fraught to say anything for fear of causing anyone any more harm. And at the same time, it feels immoral to say nothing of the more than 17,000 Palestinians who have been killed in Gaza and Palestine, and more than 1,100 in Israel, and all those who have been and are being held against their will on any side. Our hearts ache with the immensity of it all. Spirit of life, we have our own horrors here with the proliferation of guns and elected officials who don't always follow in the ways in which we might want them to behave, the rise of fascism threatening our democracy, and too many who are hungry, unhoused, and without health insurance, in a nation where there is more than enough food and housing and health care available. If we could start to prioritize people over profits. And still, we know it is even more complicated than that. Spirit of clarity, help us to question assumptions propagated by stories in the news, and instead ask what, or more likely who, benefits from this fake news distraction right now, or this so-called hearing filled far more with either or than listening for the both and. Who is determining the rules? And who is manipulating the questions? And who is holding the purse strings in each circumstance? How might we each pause first rather than react? Consider a more complex reality than a soundbite or a binary of taking sides will ever allow. Spirit of healing, may those among us who are injured or ill or recovering from surgeries receive care and ease. May those who are grieving know that you are not alone. And may you receive some comfort at this tender time. Spirit of interdependence, help us to breathe into each moment, giving thanks for the trees and one another and this life we share, and the unexpected gifts of grace and peace and connection, no matter how fleeting they may be, and the unexpected song that blesses us with love. May it be so. Let us have some moments now for our own internal prayers or meditations. And then Maria will play the piano, inviting us to carry on with our service.
At Wonderful Wednesday this past week, a member mentioned that they have changed their work schedule to allow them to attend those gatherings every month because the conversations have been so meaningful. And today we welcomed in new members who have each experienced something here that they feel is worthy of their commitment. This faith and this congregation can be life-saving and life-changing.
Our benediction before. Our souls need beauty. Our hands need creativity. Our lungs need music. Our skin needs sun. Our essence needs care. Our mistakes need repair. Our hearts need forgiveness, and our community needs courage. May we be loved and be loving. That peace be made possible, that cultivating generosity yields fruit which nourishes all, that the miracle of oil brings light, that the lighting of trees brings solace, that we are graced with unexpected, glorious gifts, that the joining of one to another builds beloved community. May we be blessed and be a blessing.